Am I allowed to lift the microphone up a little? Is that all right if I lift the microphone up a little bit? Okay.
Do you want to sit here?
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today at East Boston Social Centers. I'll tell you a little bit about us for people who are new here. We are the catalyst for a tight-knit, joyful, and thriving community with a deeply held motto: when all give, all gain. For more than 100 years, we have been home for people of all ages in our community, welcoming people for everything from welcome baby visits to our active adult, older adult program. More than 90% of the children who join us in early learning and school age program join us through a subsidy or voucher based on family income or other need. And we provide an inclusive environment where diverse children who come from multilingual homes and have a variety of developmental and behavioral strengths and needs can flourish. With the financial and technical support of those in this room, the Commonwealth, and others, we have been grateful to provide safe, in-person, early learning and school-age programming in the pandemic since July 2021, and of course through the hard work of the staff and board, some of whom are here in this room. We are proud to provide in-person, full-day support for remote learning for more than 100 children over the past school year. And this not only met the needs of working families, but we also heard from families with limited English and limited technological capacity at home about how critical having this place where they could come with their children was to ensure that their children did not experience learning loss, but were able to continue to learn and flourish throughout that year. The EEOST grant that we're here for today has been instrumental for our ability to provide that safe, high-quality care. And I know I speak for other outstanding programs in this room and for all of our staff and board when I say how instrumental these grants are. So I'll just tell you a little bit about what we were able to do here with this support. We replaced the boiler system, which was desperately needed so that we could have safe, well-heated environment for our children. We installed a variety of touchless features and new doors, among other steps to minimize transmission risk, so some of those features are in this room. We installed an intercom system because parents weren't able to bring their kids into the classroom, so we needed to more easily be able to make that happen, and took other measures as well. So we want to give a special thanks to CDAC and the Children's Investment Fund, and we have Teresa and others from Children's Investment Fund here joining us today, for excellent advice and for training and for funding support that have helped us to meet these COVID-related needs and also multiple other facilities needs in recent years. So with their support, we also have been able to navigate a situation where we had several programs we operated in public housing, and we needed to move those program sites all kind of around the same time, and that was half of the children who we serve. So the grant that we received last year from the Children's Investment Fund is enabling us to build a state-of-the-art infant toddler center at the Barnes School nearby here so that we can not only continue to serve those infants and toddlers, but increase by 7 additional infants and 1 additional toddler who we're serving on site. And the classroom where we are now standing was also built with a combination of funding, including funding from our state representative Adrian Maduro and State Senator Joe Boncory. So we also wanted to give a shout out and gratitude to them and other funders who've helped us navigate all of these facilities challenges and ensure that we could serve all of our children without disruption for children or families. We also want to give a special thanks to Commissioner Agner Triworji and the Massachusetts Department of Early Education and Care for your tremendous leadership and support in an ever-changing environment over this past year. In particular, your support of parent fees throughout the pandemic and your support so that we can help families whose children are enrolled but not attending throughout this time has been instrumental in enabling us to continue to provide service throughout this time. So that and other grant programs have played a huge role for us. And also, with the support of the Commonwealth, the City of Chelsea and City of Revere gave additional funding to enable us to provide the pods that we have downstairs for remote learning during the past year. So we want to give thanks to those cities and the state for that. And I want to give a very special thank you to the Baker Polito administration for your leadership throughout the pandemic and for your support of the early education and care field across these initiatives. And thank you also for your work on the new budget, which includes a $20 million rate reserve and other essential funding for our programs. People know this is a difficult hiring environment, and those investments in our staff make a critical difference and recognize the hard work that they do every day. And so with that gratitude, it will be my great honor in just a minute to welcome our Lieutenant Governor, Karen Polito, to provide remarks and to announce these awards. Among other critical initiatives, Lieutenant Governor Polito has been an advocate for housing production across our Commonwealth. This community desperately needs that housing, as do so many others. EEOST is funded through the Housing Bond Bill, and so we're deeply grateful for the recognition of the needs of our fields. And our Lieutenant Governor also has been a leader in advancing STEM education for diverse children, and we're proud here at the Social Centers to incorporate that STEM learning across all our programs from early learning, including a middle school partnership called BOSTEM. So thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for your leadership and your tireless work on behalf of the people of the Commonwealth, and I'm honored to welcome you to share some remarks.
Thank you very much. So good afternoon, everyone. It is great to be here in East Boston at the Social Center for a few reasons. First of all, I had a great visit. It's just great to connect with the youngest of our preschool, school-age children. Got myself a fancy little sticker here, which I'm very proud of, right? But it just gave me a sense of why we do what we do. When you see the innocence of these kids come to a place like this, and they don't really know about all the things that we're talking about today that had to be put in place for them to be able to get to school this year, but they so appreciate it in the sense that they are with their friends, they're learning, they're having fun, they're staying on track, which is so critical when you're laying down the fundamentals and the foundation upon which their entire education stands. So I just want to say to all of you for your extraordinary work in terms of the careers that you have and the jobs that you do in ordinary times, how meaningful the work is that you've chosen to do and to be a part of. And then to just say on behalf of Governor Baker and our entire team, how grateful we are to have people like you who were willing to take on the risk associated with COVID-19 and working in that environment, not knowing what that really meant, and going to your places of work, following the protocols and the guidance that was issued at that time to literally serve these kids of our Commonwealth and their families. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I also want to thank your families because you went to work and then you went home and you did that day in and day out, and they supported you as well. And also the families of the children who you served. These are families who served on our front line from the beginning of the pandemic and the emergency that was put in place by Governor Baker, literally showing up at our grocery stores, in our hospitals, and in places throughout our Commonwealth to do their jobs, and you made that possible. Hard enough for them to take on the work that they would do to keep their family stable, but you gave them some peace of mind knowing that their kids were well cared for. So yes, the budget contains more dollars for the people who serve this industry, early child care, but also the funding in terms of capital that was so critically important to helping build out the places where this education could take place. Now, here at East Boston, your gym is no longer your gym, but it was built out with incredible spaces with lots of ventilation and gave you room to serve the needs of the children that come here and more, to not only gain access to the programs, for instance, after school or in the summer, but also to gain access to their education. And that remote learning was real and really important, and we thank you for doing all of that. I understand you opened your learning center back in July of last year, so you really hit the ground running, problem solved, took advantage of all the resources and sort of guidance and advice from Commissioner Sam, and you did it. So I just wanted to say thank you. And the EOST grants are proven. They work. $7.5 million is what we are announcing today, and that will be awarded to 36 organizations to improve our child care facilities all across our Commonwealth. There's no doubt that you put every penny to good use, not only for COVID-related matters over the course of this year, but for basic infrastructure like your boilers and your ventilation system and other things that just need attention, and try not to take away dollars from your staff and for the operations and the program. And so these funds really can get to those capital needs so that you can actually make sure that the dollars that are in your care and stewardship reach the kids and their families. This program has actually awarded close to $40 million to 74 agencies over a period of time. I know Commissioner Sam's going to talk a little about that. And the range of grant is from $100,000 to $250,000, and possibly matches some other private dollars that you collect because people believe in you and the program and the outcome of better learning and safe opportunities for kids to get together, which is normal and which is needed. So I just want to say thank you. It was really great for me to just visit. These kids, they're just kids, and they need to feel that way, and they just need to come here and stretch their minds and be creative, and someday, because of the work that you did over the course of this year, the dreams that they have will become real. And I just want to make sure that you understand and know how much we appreciate what you have done and what you will continue to do. We're proud of our education system here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It is going to continue to be needed in order for us to grow our economy and make sure that people have opportunity to access the careers and jobs here that our Commonwealth offers today and in the future. And the fundamental education that begins with you is critically important to the success of our Commonwealth. So thank you. Enjoy where you're at, but more importantly, continue the good work that you do. And with that, I want to turn it over to Commissioner Sam. This is the first time I've seen you in person in a very long time. And we have been on many calls, as you have, over the course of this past year and a half. And just listening to you guide us and inform us with clarity in a very unclear time was so important to the governor and to me. And you solved problems that none of us have ever had to solve before. And I am very grateful that you're here in our Commonwealth and helped to lead us forward over the course of these past very difficult months. And with that, your commissioner, our Commissioner Sam. That's an easier way. We learned that was an easier way of referring to her. Commissioner Sam.
Well, thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor, and the kind words, and I am so honored to be working on behalf of the Commonwealth during this time. It's has certainly been an adventure that I did not expect when I took the job, but none of us did, and agree that the way people just had been showing up over the last year has been inspiring. So I am very honored to be here and to celebrate the Early Education and Out of School Time Capital Fund grants and the many deserving organizations that help transform their spaces into bright and vibrant and welcoming places that children could come and learn and thrive, as Lieutenant Governor was talking about our visit here. The support from this legislature and the governor to make these investments in child care facilities over the years has really made not only this program possible, but our partnership with Children's Investment Fund that Justin had alluded to, that has helps us manage the program and really keeps Massachusetts as a national leader in this area. I have only been in this role since the end of 2019, just to fully disclose how far before COVID I got to enjoy this role. But I can tell you from my previous work nationally that this program really is, across the country, a model for how we can invest in facilities and how we can honor the work that our child care providers are doing in early education and out of school time as the country considers investments as we recover from the pandemic. The EEOST grant, for example, for East Boston Social Centers, as you know, Justin alluded to the Infant Toddler Center as well as the investment here. But it has fueled not only the investment in the children that are served here, but also their ability to be a pillar for the community and really fostering the collaboration across all the providers in East Boston who are caring for our children and families. In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, we certainly saw that more providers across the Commonwealth needed these funds. And so while traditionally we have awarded up to $1 million grants in order to build new facilities that are bright and vibrant, we knew this year we also had to allow for programs to invest in their health and safety and making sure that those locations that our children were showing up to and our families were relying on could continue to invest in the best practices we were learning daily were necessary for safety. So we shifted our focus and we adjusted the fund, and again with the help of CDEC and Children's Investment Fund, to meet that new need. And we knew that this was critical not only for the providers and the workers, the educators who were in the buildings, but also for the many essential working families that they were serving every day, and really who were serving the Commonwealth on the front line. So this year, 36 organizations are getting grants, and as Lieutenant Governor said, ranging from $100,000 to $250,000 each to make those vital health and safety improvements that we really need to keep operating safely throughout the health challenges we've experienced. And I just really want to acknowledge, I appreciate the kind words, but it is the work of those at East Boston Social Centers and those organizations you all represent that are really, really making the amazing work happen. You all here today and the organizations who aren't represented here today but have stayed open throughout the emergency and making sure that the mission to serve their communities was fulfilled. And I know, as a former preschool teacher, that a beautiful environment can transform children's lives. When children and families walk into an environment and a building that reflects the potential and the beauty of the world that we want for them, it can be transformative. And so for those living in our most vulnerable communities, these spaces, as again Lieutenant Governor stated, fosters a love of school and learning and the kind of excitement we want children to have when they come and they come to learn and start their education. The research is very clear that the achievement gap is evident as early as 18 months. And we need to be investing in these kind of high quality experiences that can really help us prevent that before it even starts. And that is really why I'm so thrilled to be here and celebrate the creation of the environments for our children, but also for our educators. I have visited many programs that have been invested in over the years and been awarded these EEOST grants over almost 2 years in this role, mostly when we've been allowed to visit in person. but really to hear the voices of the teachers and the teachers we heard today about the power of feeling that you're in an environment that reflects the kind of work you do, the power of the positive, bright spaces that allow them to do the work that not only inspires the beauty to be the best educator they can be, but also bringing new tools and practices, resources into their practice, and also reflects how much we value you as professionals. Professionals that are responsible for inspiring our next generation and ensuring that children are thriving and learning each and every day in your care. So thank you, echoing the Lieutenant Governor again, thank you for all of the work that you are doing each and every day. And really, really thrilled of all the great use that you've made of this funding and the meaningful steps towards the shared vision that we all want together to make sure that our children are really able to reach their full potential. So thank you for having us, and I'll turn it back over to Justin.
Well, thank you again, Commissioner. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for your leadership and for your support for organizations like ours and for the work that we do. And just want to say another special thank you to our staff and to our board, both for the work to make today's event possible and for the work that you've done every day to create these beautiful spaces in partnership with the Commonwealth and to ensure that children were able to receive the support on site here. And again, it really is an embodiment of when all give, all gain. And thank you also to Martha, Colleen, Zach, and others for all of your work to make this event happen today. And thank you everyone who came from all over. I know parking is not always easy here, and the team might be a new adventure for people who weren't using it for a little while. So however you got here, thank you for coming, thank you for joining us, and thank you for all you do for children of all ages here in the Commonwealth. And have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.